Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for October 23rd. October 23rd is the 296th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 297th in leap years, with 69 days remaining to the end of the year. Today happens to be World Wilderness Day, which was established by the European Wilderness Society to promote appreciation and protection of wilderness areas. And so, in recognition of that, today's word is wilderness. Wilderness is a noun that means uncultivated and unsettled land in its natural state inhabited by wild animals and wild vegetation. And with that, we'll move on to today's item. We're going to talk today about American comedian and talk show host. This is the birthday of Johnny Carson, born October 23rd, 1925. Best known as the host of The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, he's probably the most popular talk show in American history. Johnny Carson was born into ordinary conditions. His dad, for example, was a utility company lineman. Johnny was extremely shy as a young boy. When he was 12, though, he read a book on how to do magic tricks, and he was hooked. He sent away for a mail-order magic kit and practiced on his family. Pick a card. He got his first gig performing publicly for the local Rotary Club when he was 14, and his mom made him a cape for that event that was embroidered with the name The Great Carsoni. Johnny Carson served in the Navy during World War II, and there were a couple of incidents while he was in the Navy that he got to do or participate in magic tricks. These events were memorable and inspirational to him going forward. When he got out of the Navy, he went on to university, majoring in journalism. At first, he wanted to be a comedy writer, but then he switched to speech and drama with an aim to become a radio performer. Bear in mind, this will all have been either before TV or have been in its very early days, so radio was the medium of the day. He graduated from university in 1949 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in radio and speech and a minor in physics. Didn't know that. He began his broadcasting career the next year in 1950, and it didn't take long for him to get the attention of people who liked him and could be helpful to him. He got a referral to those influential in the emerging television market in Southern California, which of course ultimately led to The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. He began hosting The Tonight Show on October 1st, 1962. He interviewed all kinds of people on the show and gave some great breaks to up-and-coming comedians, such that getting booked on The Tonight Show was considered the biggest break a comedian could get. And if Carson invited a comedian to sit down after their routine, it was a sign that they had really made it. Johnny Carson hosted The Tonight Show for 30 years, which was about 2/3 of the time that national TV had even existed. He taped 4,531 episodes over those 30 years and retired for real in 1992, after which he almost never appeared in public again. By golly, when he retired, he really meant it. You can still find episodes of The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson on DVD sets and on YouTube. Johnny Carson passed away in 2005 at the age of 79. The band Chicago got together as the Chicago Transit Authority in the late 60s and issued their first album in 1969. They shortened their name simply to Chicago and put out an album a year for the next 12 years, with single releases and live shows in between. After 1980, album production slowed to every second or third year, but by golly, they're still making music, cutting albums, and doing live performances on the regular. Chicago has made 38 albums, sold over 100 million records, and are one of the longest-running and best-selling music groups of all time. What brings them to the forefront today is that their single, If You Leave Me Now, hit the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 for the first of 2 weeks in that #1 spot on October 23rd, 1976. If You Leave Me Now by Chicago, #1, October 23rd, 1976. Link in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that is called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, Parler, BitChute, and Getter. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.